Hi, this is Sherry Veronica, and with me in studio is Victor Callender, and we're going to talk politics. Let me welcome Victor into the studio. Victor?
Hey, Sherry, thanks for letting me into the studio here with you today. And I want to say hello to everybody in Barbados. And
hello, everyone in Barbados.
Issues.
Yeah, so let's talk about Kerry Simmons and him coming out and talking about saying Digicel apologizing to every Barbadian. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that it smirks politically. There is some political juxtapositioning going on there relative to Kerry Simmons, and he's a senior minister. Not just a minister, a senior minister in government.
So it's Abrams. Okay, but go ahead.
He's a senior minister in government. So the fact that you have a senior minister in government referencing a situation of a company that's has a CEO or a senior person like Abrams' wife,
Natalie,
tells you there's an underlying political dynamic that's going on in the Barbados Labour Party, at least below the surface. It's not on the surface yet, but it's below the surface, because these guys meet in parliamentary meetings. They're both in parliament. They're both in the same party. Now, that's reaching out into the headlines. So maybe the two of us, we've got it completely wrong, or we've got it completely right, which I believe we have it completely right. There is something going on, an undercurrent going on in the Barbados Labour Party. And I believe that on the radar in the Barbados Labour Party are about 4 or 5 people who are not contented at all with where they are as far as ministerial positions, and with the leadership of the parties, aside from Mia. Some of them have issues with Cynthia Bradshaw. And I think that what we're looking at is a political dynamic and orbit where we could find out pretty soon that the political engineering of all of this has to do with discontent with Abrams, because his name surfaces quite a bit, and what's going on in the Barbados Labour Party. And I think that if you go after a man's wife, that's the quickest way to draw the man out, to bring him out for a fight. So if you attack his wife or her leadership in a company that, is in Barbados, what's the quickest way to draw him out? And that's what I feel. So there's an undercurrent that's occurring in Barbados right now. Something in Barbados politically is getting ready to happen. I don't know what it is, and I'm not a savant. I'm not been looking at the tea leaves, but something is getting ready to happen, Sherry Veronica.
Yeah.
And you can rest assured that it's going to change the political tenor of Barbados going forward this year. Major league. I'm no savant. I'm not been praying about this. I'm no messenger of God. None of that. But I just based on how everything is setting up. It's like being in a bowling alley. You set the pins up just to knock them down, and we've got a situation right now where these guys are in the same cabinet. They can talk. They're both, like you said, both senior ministers. They both can reach out and talk to each other and solve whatever problems before it goes to press. The fact that it's going to press and stuff.
Yeah, it looks strange. It had the optics weren't that cool. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So what do you? Yeah. So what do
You're
you?
gonna have some ripples, yeah. But
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So those ripples. You were talking to me offline. You were talking about you think there's going to be some more another exodus from the BLP.
It could very well be that there some disenchanted, disillusioned people will leave. I don't know that they will do what Ralph Thorne did, but they could leave and reduce the ruling party significantly. There are names out there that constantly come on the radar. Several different areas of Barbadian political chat that could leave, and Wilfred Abrams' name comes up all the time.
So if that's happening in chats, if that's happening in Barbadian chats online, it's obvious that Mia Motley has her people out there and she's seen and hearing whatever's going on. So if she's smart, and we both think she's a smart lady, she should be having a plan B and C going on all right now, like people to replace them. So do you think that she's worried, or do you think she's exiting? Because you seem to think that Mia is going to push off after this time. She's not going to.
She's done. Mia Motley loves Barbados, and she loves politics. But there comes a time when you go to a position of political burnout, where you've gone to the apex, which is to be prime minister. And there's nothing else for her to do other than go to an international organization where she'll be best equipped to deal with because she's an internationalist. And I feel our prime minister will move on into an international position somewhere, and do great things as an international politician. She's a hell of a diplomat. She's been prepared for prime ministership all her life. Her lexicon, political lexicon, far supersedes most people in the world, not just in the Caribbean, in the world. She's a political animal, and she has so much more to give. She's young, and what else is there for her to gain in the parlance of Barbadian politics? Really, there's not much left. She came into a situation where Barbados was absolutely decimated economically. She was able to revitalize Barbados. She was able to get some currency for the Barbadian economy back on the map. She can hand off to somebody else. And I think that she will. She's been in elected politics now for almost 40 years. There's nothing else left for her to do except go to international politics, head up an international organization, and help to build stuff for third world and developing countries. That's my take. There's absolutely nothing else left for her to prove. However, having said that, I would be hard pressed to find three people in Barbados that could ascend to a position in Barbadian politics that can carry on the baton and bring Barbados. And that's not knocking any politician in Barbados. It's saying, however, that Mia Motley is the last of a political dying breed in Barbados. She's the last. Before her was David Thompson. After David Thompson died, we saw what happened with Frondell Stewart. I would venture to say that after Mia Motley steps aside from politics in Barbados, in particular in the Barbados Labour Party, the political dynamic, the winds of change would have occurred in Barbados. That's just my belief.
I agree. And you also don't have any. You're not putting no bets on Santia, obviously.
No, I don't think that she commands the political respect of the parliamentarians in her party. I don't think she comes from good political stock. I mean, that her father, Delisle Bradshaw, was an esteemed politician in the Barbados Labour Party. However, the mind space of the majority of people, especially the male politicians in the Barbados Labour Party, Dale Bradshaw, Dale Marshall, Kerry Simmons, William Duguid, the same Wilfred Abrams and others, I don't think that she commands. She has the political command and control of that dynamic, of that orbit that they do. I just do not see that.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I don't see that.
Right.
No. Don't see it. No. Mia's presence, her infinitesimally strong thumbprint on the Barbadian political dynamic is insurmountable, relatively speaking.
Yeah, I find that I feel that way too.
Yeah, insurmountable. Yeah. I mean, she's, like her or not, she's a dynamic politician.
Yeah.
Campaigning, understanding international policy. She's a policy wonk. She understands policy. She reads. She's articulate. She's able to hold a conversation with diverse populations of people globally, and bring those people into her space, and to take what sometimes is difficult and make very simple. That's been. Am I lathered up about Mia Amor Motley? I am. I am lathered up about her as a politician. I think that the history of Barbados is written and her legacy is told, that she would have been the greatest prime minister Barbados ever had. No disrespect to the Adamses and to Barrow and anyone who came before her, but she's more politically savvy than all of them, by far, because she's had the ability to learn from them. It's almost like comparing trumpeters. I love to trumpet. Comparing Wynton Marsalis to Miles Davis. Wynton Marsalis had the opportunity to learn from Miles Davis. I make the comparison that Mia had the ability to be a student of Barrow and all of those political elites, the great political minds who came before, and she studied them. So what we see now is a representation emblematic of her ability to understand the totality of what it takes to lead a developing country and to stabilize it and to surround yourself with people who are good in what they do. That's my belief.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, anything else?
I just feel, I know we beat this horse to death, but Ralph Thorne is a political non-entity, relatively ill-prepared to handle the minuscule issues that arise. I mean, we just saw it here, where we saw his contribution as a leader of the opposition, relative to a debate, and not prepared for it at all. So he would have gotten a little bit of money to go ahead of his leadership of the party when he retires, and he's done. No, he's a dunce. He doesn't understand policy. I thought it's a political dunce.
Okay.
He would have done better to have served with Mia for a little bit longer.
Okay.
To have learned and stuff. But these guys run away from politics when they don't get what they want. Had he been a sitting member, a cabinet member, a minister, he never would have crossed the floor.
Yeah.
In the history of Barbados, not one who has been a minister has attempted to cross the floor.
Exactly.
So Mia doesn't have to make a prosecutor argument against Ralph Thorne. Ralph Thorne has prosecuted an argument against himself because of his lack of preparedness, and he lacks the preparation to be a decent parliamentary representative. Mm-hmm. And in so doing, he has betrayed the people, and he was elected to serve.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So, so that's it.
That's it.
All right. I want to thank you, Victor. This is Sherry Veronica, Naked Departure Radio.